Remember the role of Basel, because the Swiss club have 50% of the sale of Riccardo Calafiori. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today guys, we have many things to mention. Here we go for Chelsea, the calls of Erik ten Hag, but also something to say on other players, including Ederson, including Riccardo Calafiori. Let's jump into it together. And so guys, let me start with an exclusive news I told you today, and I can confirm to you that Renato Veiga, the new player of Chelsea, the deal is done. And it's here we go. For Renato Veiga, who is joining Chelsea on a permanent transfer from Basel in Switzerland. The former club of Riccardo Calafiori replaced Riccardo Calafiori with Renato Veiga, who can play in several positions: midfielder, left back, centre back. He's very tall, he's very talented, born in 2003. And so what Chelsea did was to scout this player for months and then to close the deal in the last 24 hours. An exclusive news out of nowhere, because we never had any link between Chelsea and Veiga, but now the deal is done. Chelsea pay 14 million euros. This is the final package. Also contract until 2032 for Renato Veiga, so it's going to be very long contract. He's going to start working under Enzo Maresca in the preseason. Chelsea believe that the value of the player was way higher, so in terms of potential he can do many important things, and they were able also to agree on everything in a very fast way. There will be no sell-on clause and also no add-ons included in the deal. 14 million euros. Basel already gave the green light. The player will be in London for medical test, already left the training camp of Basel, and so Renato Veiga to Chelsea is a here we go. Let me say something on the position of this player, because as I told you, he can play as a midfielder, defensive midfielder. He can play as a centre-back, as I told you, he's very tall, but he's left-footed. And you remember, I spent weeks telling you, Chelsea are looking for a left-footed, talented defender. And Renato Veiga is considered to be exactly that kind of player. But they believe they can also use him in that position, at left-back, because he's left-footed and can also help in that position. He's a very physical player, so they believe that for the Premier League he could be a very good solution for present or future, but for sure with big potential. Was a situation on another left-footed player, Riccardo Calafiori. Arsenal are advancing on the deal for Riccardo Calafiori. Arsenal have an agreement with Riccardo Calafiori. The salary will be around 4 million euros net per season, so it's not a huge salary, because Riccardo Calafiori was on kind of normal salary at Bologna, and so for Arsenal policy this is absolutely perfect. Now Arsenal are working on a deal with Bologna. The package with Bologna has to be something around 50 million euros. Then they are still discussing the structure of the add-ons, the structure of the deal, but Arsenal and Bologna are in constant contact to make the Riccardo Calafiori deal happen. Remember the role of Basel, because the Swiss club have 50% of the sale of Riccardo Calafiori after 4.5 million euros, which is the fee they paid to sign the player. So what's important to say on Riccardo Calafiori is that Arsenal have an agreement with the player. Arsenal have the green light of the player on the project. Arteta already approved Riccardo Calafiori. The relationship Arsenal-Bologna is very good. Now the two clubs are working on closing the deal. So negotiations underway, negotiations ongoing, still some steps needed. In Italy, I know many of you are asking me about many sources saying that the deal is done. The deal is not done yet between the two clubs. There is still work needed. As I am recording in this moment, they are still working on this, but also Basel, the percentage for Basel, is an important part of the story. So negotiations ongoing, but Calafiori said yes to Arsenal, and Chelsea signing a player like Renato Veiga, left-footed and defender, could also mean that Chelsea will not attack the situation for Calafiori, because Chelsea considered Calafiori. They've also made contact to understand the situation of the player. They consider the possibility to include players in a deal for Riccardo Calafiori with Bologna, maybe in the offensive positions where Bologna are looking for wingers, for strikers. So Bologna considered that possibility, but Chelsea never presented an official bid for Riccardo Calafiori, and also Riccardo Calafiori gave his green light to Arsenal. Riccardo Calafiori was never in touch with Chelsea to tell them, okay, I want to come, or maybe Chelsea to make a proposal to the player. Chelsea's strategy was to start on club side before understanding the situation of Calafiori, but Calafiori already said yes to Arsenal, and Arsenal are already in advanced talks with Bologna. So Arsenal are way ahead, and now Chelsea have signed Renato Veiga. So for Arsenal is a big match point in this Calafiori story, with a deal to close between the two clubs. But the deal is absolutely on and is absolutely concrete. But still needs to be agreed between the two clubs. For Riccardo Calafiori, let me tell you also about Italian players on Federico Chiesa. Was a story from yesterday. Chiesa has to leave Juventus this summer, has to, because his contract expires in 1 year, 2025, and Juventus will not extend his contract. He's out of the project of Thiago Motta. Juventus want to sign Cup Miners in the midfield. Juventus want to do Douglas Luiz, Kefren Thuram, Cup Miners in the midfield, and so they don't want to keep Federico Chiesa as a winger. Their focus is to get money from Federico Chiesa, reinvest also on Cup Miners, and bring in a new winger with interest also in Jadon Sancho. So for sure, they keep working on the situation of Federico Chiesa to find solutions. Federico Chiesa is available for something around 25 million euros, and he's also open to try a new experience abroad. So not just staying in Italy where he has some possibilities, but also going abroad is an option for Federico Chiesa. So let's see what happens in terms of proposals, but Chiesa will be one to watch in this summer transfer window for sure. Ederson will be one to watch. The contacts between Manchester City and Al Nassr will start soon on the price of the player. My understanding is that Manchester City will not give the player for a normal fee. Still has to be an important fee, something around maybe 50 millions, not less than this. This is the expectation for the Ederson story. Ederson already gave a green light to Al Nassr in terms of contract, in terms of project, so Ederson is ready to go to Saudi. Now it depends on the clubs, so let's see what happens, but there is already a green light from Ederson to Al Nassr. So now the opportunity for Al Nassr to negotiate with Manchester City, and they need to agree on a deal. Let me clarify once again that Stefan Ortega, in case Ederson leaves, will be the first goalkeeper of Manchester City. His contract has been extended and Man City really trust Ortega. So the idea, in case Ederson leaves, is to bring in a new backup goalkeeper with Ortega being the first goalkeeper. This is the idea, this is the plan for Manchester City, with Ederson already prepared to say yes to Al Nassr, but again waiting on the negotiation between the two clubs. And then the calls of Erik ten Hag, because in the next days we will talk a lot about Manchester United. I told you that the contacts for Matthijs de Ligt continue, the deal is on, talks are ongoing, so Matthijs de Ligt deal is absolutely on, but also Erik ten Hag has been on phone in the recent weeks with several players who could be opportunities for Manchester United. With the Ligt, the relationship is excellent, but also with Joshua Zirkzee. We can confirm that the contacts between ten Hag and Zirkzee in the recent weeks have been constant. So Erik ten Hag is really pushing. Erik ten Hag wanted to speak directly to the player, and Erik ten Hag is convinced that Zirkzee could be an option for Manchester United. So we will keep you posted on the details of this story, but remember again that for the Ligt they are pushing, and the relationship with ten Hag is a crucial point, but also that ten Hag is calling Joshua Zirkzee, who is still an important target for the summer transfer window for Manchester United. And so guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories from Renato, Veiga and Chelsea. Let me know your opinion, but also Calafiori, Chiesa and all the other stuff. Ten Hag, Zirkzee, Ederson, let me know your opinion here in comments. Like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon. Ciao.